You get to write the story, so you might as well make it a bestseller.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
Absolutely. We've created for you free access to over 503 episodes where we share really insider tips, building wealth, how to get the most out of your home, and even the great news here is you can get access to them anywhere, from home, from office, or on the go. So what we're going to discover in this episode is how our story, the story we tell ourselves or our mind, actually affects our entire body and life.
Yeah.
The story we tell, whether it's true or not, doesn't really matter.
Well, the body doesn't know whether it's true or not.
Right.
It thinks everything the brain thinks is true. Isn't that wild?
It is wild.
I don't know. Have you ever woken up from a dream? Like, I've had ones where I'm swimming across a lake and it's a lot further than I thought it was going to be. And I wake up and I'm just exhausted.
Yep.
No.
Or your muscles are even sore.
Yeah.
I know. It is absolutely wild that that's true.
And then recently, while I was writing this show, I knew I needed to get up in the morning, do my devos, and then go sit down in the office before I went to work and write the content for this show that you're listening to right now.
Right, the one on cells.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So for some reason, I woke up and I vaguely remembered dreaming some things. I don't even remember what I was dreaming now. And typically when I wake up, I don't remember anything, which is very pleasant for me, actually. And this morning, I woke up and I was in a funk. My dream had put me in a cellular, emotional, draggy, kind of funky, not
state.
That fun, right?
Right.
And how quick does it take you to pick up on that?
Oh, about 0.0 seconds.
Like a millisecond.
A millisecond, like it's a 0.1 seconds. And so I feel the funk, and right away, my inclination is to go, what's wrong? What is wrong with you, man? And can you snap out of it? And could you snap out of it yesterday, not just take your time to snap it out?
And you read a story about maybe you did something?
Oh, that could happen. That could definitely happen, right? So maybe you, like me, have maybe still, for me, it was mostly in the past where I would write this dramatic, terrible, like, what did I do? What did I get wrong? Do you not want to create the shows? Did I whatever, right? Like I get into...
We're going to be late again because now he doesn't want to write it.
Right, story.
Another late night.
Another late night, and I don't want to do that, and then the shows we're not as present with you, they're not as well written, I don't feel as comfortable, so I don't show up as good, so then I make it all about me. That's at least what I used to do a lot.
That's tiring.
It really is tiring.
Just listening to that.
Right? It is tiring. And yet we have a tendency when somebody is off emotionally or their energy, whether it's when they wake up, like in Ken's case this time, or during the course of a day, we tend to make it about ourselves. So if you ever found yourself like sucked into the vortex and nobody did anything wrong, their cells just aren't dancing. They're not singing a nice tune that's not happy. And so in this particular case that morning, I was on point and I was able to not get sucked in. I asked him what was up. He said he'd had a dream, and we were able to I could support him. And I stayed uplifting, didn't get sucked in, but I touched it. The trick is to touch it.
Yes, you did touch it.
And that worked for quite a while.
Well, and then we did the devotional and our Bible reading and prayer. And then I went into the room to start working. And I'm focused now because I have a certain amount of time to write a show, and then I got to get into my car and drive for an appointment at the office. So I'm focused and I'm researching and I'm writing. And then what happens, my love?
Well, this love of his life came into the room, and I was staying away. Like I have learned when he's in his writing mode, stay out, don't interrupt, because then the cells will start screaming and yelling at him and at me, and it doesn't ever go well. So it was really good. But then I came by the office, the creative office. He was actually in my office, so invading my space, not in his own office.
Yeah, but it's the creative space. That's why I wanted to be in there.
I know, which was lovely, except that meant I couldn't be. And so I was needing to get something out of there. I peeked my eye into the room, noticed he wasn't writing. Noticed he was just Googling. And
Just Googling.
Just Googling. And so I figured he was not really engaged in the work he was doing. So I spoke to him. Right?
Yeah, and I was actually Googling about the person that willed themselves to death.
Right, to make sure whether it was folklore, whether it was truth, and there's both conflicting stories, and so we had to find a way we could speak about it. But in that moment, I felt my cells start getting deflated, because I don't like being ignored, I don't like not being answered, and so that's what happened. So when I walked out of the room, I just said, howdy doody, right? Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody. I didn't throw a temper tantrum. I just kind of, under my breath, said howdy doody and left again. And what happened to you?
Well, my cells and my emotional state went, what the heck? And so I yelled at you to come back because you're in another room. Not like screamed anger yell, just called you back. And so anyways, we had to unpack that. And what I recognize is, just like if you're driving in a boat, you're responsible for your wake behind the boat. When I say you're responsible for it, you're responsible if it's degrading the shoreline. You're responsible that it doesn't tip over a canoe or something else. So you're responsible for the physical wake you're leaving behind. And then I realized we leave an emotional wake behind, and we need to be responsible for how our emotional wake affects the others in our life.
Because it's happening all the time. And the story you're telling yourself, which is, we'll go back to where we started, the story we're telling ourselves is actually creating how we're responding.
Yeah, it's creating the emotion. The emotion doesn't come initially.
No.
There's the event, then there's the story, and then the emotions. And when you have emotions, like, I don't know about you, but if I have emotions, like we're having a tough fight or whatever,
A heated fellowship,
or sadness,
Yeah.
Someone is dying or sick, and you get those emotions, it drains the energy right out of my body. So creating a story, truthful or not, many times not truthful, many times not 100% on, creates the emotions, which then affects every cell in my body.
I know. So as we're talking story, we're not talking like we're just saying what we make it mean. Like the thing we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
We're calling that a story.
Yeah, the bus is late. What kind of story do I start telling?
Exactly. And so it'll create stress, and we don't need to create that stress because there's plenty of stress in the life that we're already living, and we don't need to make it a nasty one. So how do you get back to telling yourself things that will actually create your life story to be a bestseller?
So thanks for the privilege of coming alongside you, because we're passionate about us all being positioned for generational legacy.
Moving forward with the Decker team.